This is YSM Sports Media. Want to thank you for all your love and support. Really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification button for all future content.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Want to welcome you to the official press conference for Ennis versus Lipinets. I'm Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing. And we're here to let you know that on April 10th, Showtime Championship Boxing is back in the fight sphere, the Mohegan Sun Arena, for a triple header of fights brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. The night begins at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time, again, for a triple header of fights. The first fight that will open the broadcast, a world title fight, as the IBF Junior Bantamweight champion. You know him as Pretty Boy. Jaron Ennis, of course, defends his title against Jonathan Rodriguez. The co-main features two fighters who really throw with bad intentions. You've got the unbeaten Amantis Stanionis taking on the former world title challenger, Thomas Delorme. So you have that as the co-main. And then the main event. You talk about a rising star in the welterweight division, Jaron Boots Ennis, out of that fighting city of Philadelphia, takes on a former world champion in the Samurai, Sergey Lipinets, in the main event of the night. It will be another night of meaningful fights on Showtime Championship Boxing that comes your way April 10th. Of course, the whole event will be presented by and promoted by Tgb Promotions. Now, you're going to hear from both of the fighters in their camp as they prepare for this. We're going to allow you, members of the media, to ask them questions. All you need to do is hit that raise your hand bar icon there on the Zoom. Greg Domino from Showtime Sports will acknowledge you, and you will be more than welcome to ask questions to both of the fighters. Now, before we get to the fighters, hear what they've been doing as they prepare for this big matchup, which is really an important fight in the welterweight division. Let's hear from the guys who helped put this whole thing together. And we'll start with the Hall of Famer. He is the president of Tgb Promotions. He's Tom Brown. Tom?
Thank you, Brian. This really is a terrific fight. Ennis is one of boxing's fastest rising talents. He has the kind of style that just makes great fights. Tremendous hand speed, punching power. He switches from orthodox to southpaw, which makes it very hard for his opponents to prepare for a fight against them. But he'd be taking up a big step up in class against the former world champion, Sergey Lipinets. Lipinets always comes to fight. He's a seasoned, aggressive fighter with serious punching power. In his only loss, it was a title defense against Mikey Garcia. Lipinets landed the bigger, harder, more punishing shots. You could see it on Mikey's face after the fight. So he can make it a tough night for anyone. And this fight will show us whether Ennis has the goods to be the next big thing at 147 pounds. Thank you.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And of course, aside from Tom, the man who helped put all of this together is boxing's best friend. Of course, he is the president of sports event programming at Showtime. He is Steven Espinoza.
Thanks, Brian. We are really excited about this card and actually the whole weekend. For Showtime, it is a big fight weekend. Friday night, we've got the launch of our light heavyweight tournament from Bellator MMA as part of our 3 consecutive weeks, our launch of Bellator MMA on Showtime. And then 3 intriguing fights, 3 meaningful fights on Saturday night. We open with a world title fight, and that shows the depth of this card and the quality of that card. You can look at across the networks and all the various platforms. You don't see many cards with a world title fight 3 fights down. And it should be an all-action world title fight with Ennis and Rodriguez. Then we go to the co-feature, looking at fast-rising young welterweight Amantis Stanionis against the veteran Delorme. That's one that, given those two styles, expect all action. And of course, the main event. This is one of the premier fights on the schedule this spring. It's something that fight fans have been looking forward to ever since it was first identified as a possibility. We've seen Sergey Lipinets on Showtime several times. He is an all-action fighter. He is aggressive. You know exactly what he does when he gets in the ring. He is all action and a big puncher. And as for Jaron, Boots is the same type of fighter. All action, aggressive. This has the makings of a real war. Two highly accomplished guys in the welterweight division. We just may be seeing who is the future in the welterweight division when we're done with this card. Brian?
All right. Well said. Thank you, Stephen. Well, let's hear from the fighters. That's why you guys are here joining us. And we'll start with the young man who's fighting out of Philadelphia. He is unbeaten, 26-0, 24 knockouts. He had a 16-fight knockout streak that was ended in his last fight, not because of him, because of a clash of heads. And obviously a disappointing end for him, but he's anxious to get back into the ring. He is known as Boots. He is Jaron Boots Ennis, and of course, joined by his trainer, of course, his father, Bozy Ennis as well. And Jaron, before we get into some of the questions, please let members of the media know how training camp has been going for you and your thoughts with this fight against Lipinets.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Training camp been going well. We're preparing well. Just ready to rock and roll, ready to shine, and take over this division. It's my time. And with this fight, this the fight that's going to take me to the next level and bring out the skills and my ability and stuff that y'all never seen before. And y'all will see a amazing, strong, sharp fighter, a punishing performance, and getting that knockout at the end of the night. And I know Sergey Lipinets, he gonna come forward and be right there in front of me. And his style, that's perfect for me. And his style is clashes perfect with mine, and it's going to run into the shots all night long.
Bozy, obviously you've trained Boots his entire life. Give us your thoughts on how training camp has been going and your thoughts on this fight as your son takes on a former world champion.
Oh, the training camp been going well. We work hard every time we get into this. I mean, plus he never's out the gym anyway. He stays in the gym. So I don't have to worry about looking for him or telling him it's time. We got a fight coming up. So we stay ready all the time. And we doing a lot of different things that we did before, you know what I mean? But now we just stepped it up a little bit more because Sergey Lipinets is a good fighter. He ain't no walkover, nothing like that. I don't, look at him like he's an easy fighter, nothing like that. This guy can fight. So I respect him, you know what I mean? And his trainer too, Joe Goose. And that's my man, matter of fact, because my son Farah was with his brother Dan Goose under him at one time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, so let's talk about the man Boots will be facing, known as the Samurai. Sergey Lipinets, 16-1-1, 12 knockouts. He is the former world champion at 140 pounds. Sergey is joined by Alex Vaisfield, who, of course, is like his manager, always there by his side. Sergey, again, give us your thoughts on how camp has been going and your thoughts on facing Jaron Ennis.
Всем привет. Большое спасибо хочу сказать Ал Хейману, Showtime, мистеру Espinoza, моим менеджерам, моему тренеру Джо Гузену, всем моим болельщикам, всем болельщикам бокса. Хочу сказать спасибо Джарону Эннису, что взял этот бой, что мы будем драться. И кэмп проходит отлично, мы тренируемся очень тяжело, делаем всю работу, все проходит супер. Значит, с нетерпением жду боя и ждем экшена 10 апреля.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to thank Al Heyman, Showtime, management, Joe Guzin for being by my side through all that hard camp. Well, the camp is going real well, and it's a hard camp for the simple reason is that it's probably easier to get someone that looks like me for Jaron. By the way, thanks Jaron for taking that fight as well. Um, than me getting someone like Jaron to spar with. So we had to bring a lot of people in to choose and pick, and it's not easy. It's a hard camp, and we digging in real deep.
Alex, give us your thoughts on and what you've seen, because even though Joe obviously is his trainer, you're always there by Sergey's side and watching him on how you've seen camp going for Ennis and what you think about this fight.
Well, this camp is, like I said, it really stands out from the other ones that we had for that reason, the same reason that I just mentioned, what Sergey just said. It's real tough to get someone that will look closer to Jaron Ennis. You're never going to get a carbon copy of who you're fighting, but still, get someone that athletic and that physically imposing guy. It's not easy, but we managed real good sparring camp, and we had guys that look close, not that close, but whatever. We're getting ready for whatever Ennis is gonna bring in. We want to make sure that Sergey can answer, and I'm glad that Jaron thinks that Sergey is going to be sitting right in front of him, and it's going to be an easy target to pick on. I mean, listen, it's all in the eye of the beholder, and we'll see how it plays down in the ring under the lights. Look, may the best man win. That's what I say.
Absolutely. Should be a fantastic night and a fantastic fight. Well, let's get to some of the questions. And Boots, I'll start with you. What's it like to finally now be in the main event on Showtime Championship Boxing?
It's a great feeling. I just want to thank my team, Showtime and Cameron Duncan and Mr. Espinoza and the rest of you guys, and I appreciate it. Like I said before, I'm excited, and this is my time, man. It's the perfect timing for everything, and it's after this fight, it's on to bigger and better, and I just can't wait.
Alex, and this is for Sergey. Sergey was quoted as saying, "I believe Ennis sees me as a stepping stone. That's going to be a problem for him." Tell us, what does he mean by that?
Я за тебя говорил, что он думает, что ты просто как ступенька, чтобы пойти вперед. Да? Я сказал, что это может быть ступенька, которая слишком высокая для того, чтобы. Как ты думаешь, почему это может оказаться проблемой?
Потому что я перешел из кикбоксинга в бокс. Я не имею таких талантов, не супер бьющий, не супер быстрый, не супер умный, но все, что я умею, это тяжело трудиться. И я впахиваю в зале каждый день, каждую минуту, выкладываюсь по полной, тренируюсь тяжело и не жалея себя. Поэтому надеюсь, уверен, что это покажет в ринге мое трудолюбие.
Well, it may look like I'm right there in front of you. It may look like I'm a tailor-made. It may look like something that I'm slower. I'm not that fast on my feet. But one thing that I'm good at is working hard, getting into your chest, and doing what I do best, punching from every possible angle you can see. The one that really going to hurt you is the one that you won't see coming. So if you overlook that specific aspect of the game, that you're dealing with the guy that's a hard worker, not afraid of anything, and like I said, nothing is going to make me scared at that point when I'm going to be in front of him. You might trip over. That stepping stone could be a little bit too high. And, to say that you're at 27-0, 25 knockouts, you're putting that burden on yourself. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's good. I mean, that's probably something that motivates you But all I'm saying is that I'm going to go in there and give you that hell of a night.
Boots, what's your response to that? Because you have been quoted about saying you're excited to have an outstanding performance. What's your response to that?
Like I said before, this is my time, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Whenever he bring, I'm gonna be ready for it. And we don't look at nobody as stepping stone. This fight right here is gonna take me to the next level, and they will see. And like I said, I can do a bunch of different things, and they don't know how I'm gonna come. And just know I'm ready, and I'm working. Probably this might have been the hardest I've been working ever, and I've been waiting for this opportunity for a very, very long time. And I finally got a guy with a name, and now it's just my time to shine, and just show the world the rest of my talent, and show them that I'm really nothing to be played with, and I'm a dangerous man. And they will see on April 10th.
You know, the only criticism, Jaron, that you've really received up to this point was the level of opposition. Do you feel like now, especially facing Sergey Lipinets, you can quiet those critics?
I mean, every time I fight, they always say, it's a step up, it's a step up, it's a step up. And then when I do what I do, oh, he need to fight somebody better. So at the end of the day, I just work for myself and my family and my team and just better myself each and every time and get better each and every fight. And like I said before, I just work harder and harder every time so I can perform to my best ability and show the world every fight that I just get better and better and stronger and stronger and smarter and smarter. And they, like I said, they will see.
And let me say this, Brian. Every time he fights somebody, they say it's a step-up fight. So you never can please nobody. You know what I mean? You can't please nobody at all. You know what I mean? It's a step-up fight. This is Sergey Lipinets. He's a hell of a fighter, man. You know, we don't really look past him. You know what I mean? We just figure this is our time. That's all. He had his time. It's now it's our time. That's the way we look at it. You know what I mean? I think he's a great fighter.
Respect. Sergey, you know, Boots has never really been past 6 rounds. That's how dominant he's been. Do you think this is the fight where not only he gets tested, but has to learn how to swim in deep water, so to speak?
Ну, никогда не больше 6 раундов не дрался. Как ты думаешь, это будет бой, в котором все протестируют его? Или и когда он идет за больше, ну, 7-8 раунд, он не будет знать, как чувствовать?
Мы готовимся ко всему, что предложит Энис. Он отличный боец, очень умный, быстрый. Я думаю, что он тяжело готовится к этому бою, что он работает и больше 12 раундов в спаррингах. Я думаю, что он будет готов к этим 12. И мы постараемся сделать все, чтобы выиграть в каждом раунде, а не ждать, пока сможет ли он работать больше или меньше. Поэтому у нас все идет как нужно.
Well, he looks like a full package, Ennis does. I mean, Jaron does. And he can punch, he can move. He does all that stuff real well. And I'm sure that more or less he's getting ready for 12 rounds. So if he's going to go past 6, all right, past 6, 8, I'm sure he's going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. Ultimately, our main goal is to give it a good fight, you know, put up a great show. And again, like I said before, made him in, best man win. That's all there is to it. You know, it's hard to predict anything on a level like that because he does belong to the top of the division. This is nothing to look past. So it's all there is to it.
Sergey, in your last fight against Custio Clayton, it ended in a draw. And I was looking back over what some of the members of the media wrote about the fight. And they said Clayton slowed your offense in the later rounds with his jab and his movement. If that's the case, how do you beat Ennis, who is quicker, has better movement, and stronger than Clayton?
Они говорят, что в прошлом бою с этим ты из-за того, что ты тот как бы тебя тормознул в последних раундах своим джебом и своими движениями в ринге. Джерон сильнее, чем тот, и быстрее, чем тот, и лучше того, двигается, и быстрее, больше и сильнее бьет. Как ты можешь с этим?
Ну, не хотелось бы оправдываться насчет ничьи, но на самом деле нам меняли 3 раза дату боя. Мы долго готовились к этому, почти 1,5 года, все затянулось. За 2 недели до боя нам еще сказали, что мы деремся совсем с другим. Потом поменяли вообще дату еще раз. Потом поменяли соперника. И соперник сам поменялся. Во-первых, он дрался в одной манере, а потом, как начал драться со мной, стал в другую манеру, совсем по-другому боксировать. И не скажу, что он был какой медленнее или бьет слабее, чем Джерон. Это отличный боец, хороший соперник.
Well, not looking for an excuse, but that fight was prior to that fight. We were getting ready we were in a camp for like almost a year. They changed opponents on us continuously. It was complete. I mean, one guy, and then another guy, and then another guy. Finally, real close to the fight, they said, "This is the guy you're fighting." I can't say that Clayton hitting less harder than Jaron does, or moving worse or better than Jaron does. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. This is the fighter that you need a full camp to get ready for. I was injured in that fight. It's just I injured my hamstring in the 3rd round, and it really, made my ability to move a little harder. But it's not an excuse. I'm just saying that if you look at Clayton's fight, prior to that fight, he was fighting coming forward, trying to take someone out, being first, engaging first. For some reason, with me, he started moving, boxing, and didn't try to get me out of there. Okay. Look, like I said, writing is on the wall. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about Clayton being a bad fighter or Jaron being a better fighter. It's a elite of the 147, and the guy that I just fought still lost me 8 rounds to 4 when we watched that fight over again and over again. That's all there is to it, but it is what it is.
Jaron, obviously your last fight against Van Heerden, you were really hoping that, hey, a victory over a guy like that really elevates your career. I know you had to be disappointed with that one ending after the 1st round with the clash of heads. So what do you think then this fight against a former world champion and a fighter like Lipinets then does for your career after this?
Like I said before, after this, me beating Lipinets, that's taking my career to the next level, because he was a former world champion at 140, and he fought a lot of top guys, and me beating him and making a statement on him is that's a whole different level right there, and that's boosting me all the way up. And I feel like after this is bigger and better things, but we got business to handle on April 10th.
Sergey, the same question to you. What is a win over a fighter who many believe is the future of the welterweight division? What does that do for you in your career?
Что эта победа над Энисом тебе даст?
Я привык драться с лучшими, самыми хорошими бойцами, поэтому мне просто нравится боксировать, драться, и я с удовольствием иду в бой и беру бои тяжелые, и как вы видите, ни разу у меня не было легких боев. Я не ищу легких путей и делюсь самыми лучшими, поэтому.
Well, first of all, I just fight. And then if you look at my career and how I started and how I was going through the ranks, I've done something that a lot of people didn't. Thanks to my team, and at 13th fight, I became champion of the world. And I don't have that pedigree as other guys do have. So all I do, I just like to fight. And then I like to fight. I like the challenge. And Jaron is the challenge. So I never said no to the fight. I never, hesitated or start thinking twice about it. The only thing is, like I said, I just love to fight. And I love to fight the best. And he's one of the best out there right now. And should I win? You're just going to prove my point. I belong where I'm at right now.
Mm. And Boots, we'll wrap it up here. You were quoted as saying, being my first main event, I need a spectacular performance. Does that mean you're starting another knockout streak on April 10th?
I mean, it's we don't go in there looking for a knockout in it, but if it presents itself, we're gonna go ahead and take that advantage and the opportunity and get them about it. But the main goal is just to look sharp, be on point, having my fun and doing what I do best, and that's being phenomenal and being sharp and getting the knockout at the end of the night and putting on punishing performances. So that's the goal.
Now, I know members of the media, you've got a number of questions. If you have questions for the fighters, whether it be Boots, whether it be Lipinets, hit the raise your hand icon there on the Zoom. We will acknowledge you. You'll be able to ask your questions. Also, if you have questions for Steven Espinoza or Tom Brown as well, they're available as well for your questions. Greg Domino from Showtime Sports will take it away now. And Greg, I know that members of the media have questions, so let's get right to them.
Yes, thank you, Brian, and thank you to all the media who've joined this afternoon to see Ennis and talk to Ennis and Lipinets. So we'll get started here. Our first question comes from Keith Idek of Boxing Scene.
Yes, my first question is for Jaron. Jaron, did you happen to see Lipinets' fight against Clayton, and if so, what did you think of it?
Well, I actually didn't get to see it. I don't watch guys that I fight. I leave it up to my team, because you never know how a guy's going to come out. Just because he did one thing with that guy, that don't mean he's going to do it with me. So you got to prepare yourself all the way around, and that's what we do. And but yeah, he a great fighter though. But like I said, it's just my time. And
he's obviously a step up in opponents for you. How significant of a step up do you feel that this is, and why?
I mean, it's a great step up. Like I just said before, he a former world champion at 140. And he for top guys, and me beating him and making a statement on him that's like I just said, just it's going to take my career. It's going to skyrocket my everything, rankings, just fighting other opponents and stuff like that too, like better opponents and stuff. So this the moment right here, and y'all gonna see.
Ron, who would you say has been your most either difficult or dangerous opponent so far?
I'm not sure. You can't say, because when I'm in that ring, I control the guys, and I do what I want to do. Some fights you might see me fighting on the inside. Some fights you might see me boxing. Like I do what I want, and I control the guys. I make them do what I want them to do. So I don't know. I can't say.
Okay, thanks, Jaron. I just have a question for Sergey also. Sergey, a lot of top welterweights have shied away from fighting Jaron Ennis or outpriced themselves or whatever the case might be. What made this the right fight for you at this time?
Много отказывались. Многие боксеры отказывались от боя сегодня. Что побудило тебя взять эту?
Я хочу стать чемпионом мира. Мы деремся за пояс. Все мечтают о поясе. И я хотел бы быть чемпионом мира в двух весовых категориях, поэтому мы деремся.
Well, ultimately, we all want to become champions of the world. And this is one way to do it, to fight guys that will put you in a position that you can't be denied anymore. And that's the bottom line. Jaron is not a boogeyman. He's just another fighter with 2 hands and 2 feet, and we that's what we're doing. We're fighting.
And just one other thing for Sergey. He thinks he won 8 rounds of the fight against Clayton. Is that what he said before?
Ты считаешь, это я говорил, что 8 раундов Филипп выиграл из...
Да, я считаю, что я в бою считал, что я выигрываю. И после боя я посмотрел еще раз, 2 раза, сам вместе с своим тренером. Мы смотрели и насчитали 8-4, но отдать должное, если чуть-чуть добавить, даже 7-5 хорошо.
Well, yeah, even during the fight, I thought I was up ahead, but then after the fight, you know, I watched that fight again myself. Then I watched it was Joe Guzan and my team, and that's the way we looked at it. At the worst, there was 7-5. I mean, first 7 rounds, it was all me. I mean, and then my hamstrings started, you know, acting up. Slow down.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Keith. Next, we'll go to Dave Jahal of The Boxing Voice.
Hey, Jaron. Hi, Sergey. How's it going? You guys good?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, good. So, Jaron, first of all, for yourself, considering the rankings of the welterweight division, and a win for either yourself or Sergey, would you be pushing for world titles later on this year? I mean, it's quite a significant fight in the welterweight division, isn't it? This fight with Sergey.
Most definitely. I feel like, not looking past Sergey Lipinets and me doing my thing on April 10th. But yeah, definitely. I feel like end of the year, or beginning. Yeah, I feel like end of the year, should be able to get a shot.
Yeah, I mean, with the rankings at the moment as well, this fight could catapult either person in contention. And looking at the rankings as they are, who is on your sort of list of fighters that you want to fight in terms of the rankings? I
mean, like I just said, not looking past Sergey Lipinets, but you know me, I fight any and everybody. All you gotta do is call, and I'm hungry. And like I said, I've been waiting for these type of fights, and y'all gonna see.
Good stuff. And Sergey, same question for yourself again. Do you think you can be in world contention after this fight and get back up to world level?
Думаю, что после этого боя ты сможешь драться за больше бойцов, ну там другими чемпионами и так далее.
Ну, я пока об этом не думал ни о чем. Сейчас думаю, самое главное мое внимание на этом бое, а дальше мы посмотрим, что будет происходить.
I don't really care where's that fight going to take me at this point. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen after that fight. I'm thinking about what's going to happen in the fight, and that's all I care about. Right now, I got Jaron Ennis to deal with, and you know, it's not an easy task. And after that, we'll recommence that conversation.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, guys, and best of luck to both of you on April 10th. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next, we'll go to R.L. Woodson from Bite Down Boxing. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First question for Jaron. I just want to know, we got a lot of excitement in the division last week with Ortiz and Hooker. You're positioned in most of the 3 of the 4 ranking sanctioning bodies. Any pressure to kind of maintain the excitement, you know, coming off of last week's fight with Ortiz taking out Hooker?
No, ain't no pressure. I don't be worrying about other people. I just focus on myself and how I can better myself and prepare for my fights and get better and sharper and smarter and stronger each and every time.
Got it. I just asked because I know you're a bit of a showman anyway. But final question to you. How do you maintain focus? We see you chime in from time to time at the champions in the division. But how do you maintain focus and intensity in your preparation when it seems like the business at the top of the division is so difficult to get anything done, which could affect you at some point?
I mean, well, at the end of the day, like I said before, all they gotta do is call. It ain't hard for me because I'm saying yeah to any and everybody, and all I want to do is fight, win, and be great and be a legend and a multi-division world champion.
Gotcha. Question to Sergey. Salute to you for taking this fight. Like I said, with you being a world champion already, it is kind of it looks a little interesting to see you fight a guy who we would think is where you've already come from. But speaking on the Castillo fight or Clayton fight, anything coming out of that experience? I know you just spoke on the injury, but anything from that experience that changes your approach to fighting Jaron and everything that he brings to the table?
После боя с Клэйдом, какой ты получил опыт? Что тебе был показал?
Показал мои ошибки, над чем нам нужно работать. И отдохнув, приехав домой, я начал исправлять. И здесь мы уже третий месяц находимся в нашем кемпе и работаем над ошибками.
Well, as always, every fight you fight, you learning and you're making mistakes. Nobody is perfect, and the question is how to correct those mistakes. And that's why right after that fight, even before I knew that I was going to fight Jaron, I came back to the gym and we start working on those little mistakes that I made with Clayton. But the main thing that I did learn is how to fight one-legged.
Gotcha. Greg, is Mr. Espinoza still on the call?
I'm here.
Yes.
Yep, I'm here.
How is it for you, provided that Jaron wins this fight, what does this mean for you and what you want to do with Showtime Boxing and having such a player, in the mix in, one of the better divisions in all of boxing?
Well, one of the things that we enjoy most is sort of helping build a fighter. Our audience likes it. They like it when they can see guys over and over again and watch as a fighter matures. And that's what happened with Sergey. We had Sergey on one of his early fights. We saw him all the way through world title, through big fights. With Boots, we've been proud to work with Boots and Posey and their promotional team as he grows from a young fighter on a highly regarded prospect on Showbox. Now we're seeing another big step in his career as a main event on a championship fight. So I think what Booth says is accurate. If he's able to win, his credentials put him up at the top of the division. And the same goes for Sergey. The winner of this fight deserves a high-level fight. These are two guys at the top of the division, two of the most exciting fighters in the division, and whoever comes out on top is due for a world title shot in the very, very near future.
Thank you. Congratulations to everybody. Looking forward to fight night.
Thank
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go to Cole Whiston from Boxing World Weekly.
Hi, guys. This one is for Jaron. 26 fights by the age of 23 is quite a lot. I was just wondering how many times you'd like to fight this year after this fight. You gotta stay active and that keep you sharp and smart and each fight you learn something new and you get better and you go back to the gym and work on those things and just maybe 3 or 4 fights, whatever, this year, just stay active and busy. That's about it. And now a bit lighter of a question. I got to know, where does the nickname Boots come from?
When I was younger, my real nickname was Boops, Boops, and my mom gave me that nickname. And when I was going to the gym and stuff and playing around in the gym, and my dad was telling me to come here or stop doing something, they thought he was saying boots like the shoes, but he was saying Boops. And ever since then, we just changed it and kept it that way. And it just stuck with me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like the sounds of it. Sergey, I also have a question for you. Being a former world champion, some would say that was probably your best performance. But if it isn't your best performance, I'd like to know what your best performance you think is.
Какой ты думаешь, самый такой был твой лучший бой?
Но я считаю, первый бой, когда мы начали тренироваться с Джо, с ним самый мой лучший бой был. Он уже был признан, в номинацию вошел лучший, в номинацию бой года входил. Это был самый лучший.
Well, I think that my first fight under Joe Guzan was Lamont Peterson would stand out as my best performance because of the styles that we brought into that ring, and Lamont being already established, world champion, two-time world champion, was a definitely bigger name than I was. That's what I think was the best performance I've had so far.
Awesome. And same question goes to you. Where does the nickname Samurai come from?
Откуда имя Samurai?
Я начал тренироваться в России, так как я из Казахстана, я выгляжу чуть как азиат. И ребята из зала за то, что я не сдаюсь, всегда дерусь с ними, со старшими ребятами, стою в парах и не боюсь ничего, лезу в драку. Они меня назвали Самурай.
Well, when I was a kid, I was born in Kazakhstan, and I had that little Asian look in my face. And when I was moved to Russia, it's a small town when you had to establish yourself. And I've had a lot of fights, always bigger guys. Sometimes it was 2 at a time, sometimes it was 3 at a time. But win or lose, I was always fearless, and I was coming forward and fighting them. And that's why they start calling me Samurai, because of my intensity, my sheer will to win and get up on top.
That makes sense. Thank you, guys, and good luck on fight night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cole. Next, we'll go to John Cudney of Reddit Boxing.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
There you go.
First question for Boots. So some fighters who turn pro after the Olympics seem to have the red carpet rolled out for them. Do you feel like you've had to fight harder to get to the top level? Do you feel you have something to prove compared to other young fighters?
I mean, you could say that, but at the end of the day, everybody have different roads to the world title championship, and mine just taking a little longer than others, and I don't mind it because at the end of the day, I'm still learning. I'm young, and I'm getting better. Each and every fight, I'm getting stronger, smarter, faster. I'm learning new things. So I feel like I'm fine with the way that it's going. I feel like everything is happening for a reason, and it's perfect timing right now. So.
Okay. So a related question. So you're on, roughly 16, 17 fight knockout streak, depending on how you count the Van Heerden fight. You're known for your flash in the ring. There are tons of highlights of you all over social media. Do you make an effort to try to distinguish yourself in the sport as a star in that way? There's a big, youth movement in the sport, lots of young fighters coming up, or are you primarily focused on just, building up the rankings in your division?
I'm not worried about like outside things. I just, like I said before, I always worry about myself and how I'm a better myself and take my career to the next level. I'm not worrying about no outside things or extra stuff like that. All I do is stay in the gym and like I said, just work on how I'm gonna get better and sharpen up and smarter and stronger.
Okay, another quick question. So you're a great switch hitter. Can you talk a bit about that? Do you have a preferred stance? Are you ambidextrous when it comes to other things like writing, or is this just a thing in boxing?
That's with everything I do. I'm good with both hands with everything, and when I'm switching back and forth, sometimes I don't even know when I switch. It's just natural to me. It's a natural ability, and I just be in there in the motions.
Okay, so one final question for you. Can you say anything about your current managerial promotional situation? And sort of related to that, do you expect to fight on Showtime or PBC platforms in the immediate future, or is this a fight-by-fight thing?
We're just gonna continue to doing what we're doing now, and just just going and taking it one at a time, and until I get to that level, the next level.
Okay, thank you. So regarding Sergey, BC did a great job of asking all the questions I had prepared. So a quick one for Tom or Steven, which is just there's a great co-feature on this, Delorme versus Stanionis. They're both guys who have been in the mix as potential opponents at different times. Is there an intention of trying to build up demand to potentially match the winners, or is that just another, good welterweight attraction fight?
Said, was that a question to Sergey or what?
Sorry, that was for Steven or Tom. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Look, Stanionis is a promising young fighter. He's at a much earlier stage in his career. Down the line, you never know what happens. Nothing's guaranteed on April 10th. But in the future, would it surprise me that if in a couple of years, we're talking about Boots and Stanionis as two of the top guys in the division. Based on what we know now, it wouldn't be that surprising. So, he was put on the card because, we're sort of looking at two of the young, promising welterweights in the division. It wasn't really an idea of matching the two. I think Boots has his eye on a title fight in the near future, and that's probably the direction that he'll go.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, John.
Thanks everyone for being so generous with your time today. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And we have time for two more questions. So we'll toss it to Carlos Tora now for the next question.
Thank you, everybody, for taking time to talk to us. First question for Jaron. Jaron, we kind of have seen you, knock out and dominate your opponents left and right throughout your career. But when it comes to a guy like Sergey Lipinets, do you view this as a fight where you could potentially see yourself or foresee Sergey, forcing you to dig deep or fight harder than perhaps any of your previous opponents has?
I mean, we don't know. You got to see when we get in that ring. I've been fighting at 47 for a while now, and he was fighting at 40. So we got to see. I know he's a great fighter. I know he's going to come forward. And like I said before, we prepare all the way around the board. So whatever he brings and whatever he try to do or switch up or anything, we prepare for it.
A couple of questions for Sergey. Sergey, at the start, very early on in the call, Jaron was mentioning how both of your styles match up very well together. And I want to get your thoughts on that. Do you believe that this type of fight, with looking at both of your guys' styles, will make for a type of fight that's going to be all action, very exciting? And do you look forward to those kinds of fights?
Джером сказал, что ваши стили очень подходят. Как ты думаешь, это так? Действительно ли это сделает этот бой такой зрелищный? Да, мы смотрели бои, и я считаю, что будет отличный бой. Он тоже любит работать в средней дистанции, любит драться, и у нас получится отличный бой, я считаю. Oh, definitely. We watched Jaron's fight. I mean, and definitely this is the guy that will not shy away. He will not try to stand outside and be cute. He will come and will fight, and that's one of the appealing things that we've had, and that's what we like. So that's definitely going to be the fight to watch. No questions about it.
A quick question for Stephen, if he's still available.
Sure.
Stephen, obviously since last summer, Showtime Boxing, has been primarily working in Uncasville, Connecticut, and holding out these big boxing events, on a regular basis. For yourself and the network, has it been easier or harder to sort of make these types of fights like we're seeing with Jaron Ennis and Sergey Lipinets, now that we're, over half a year into this, and have the logistics of making these types of boxing events changed when it comes to making events for the fight sphere?
Well, it has become easier in the sense that the health and safety protocols, all the arrangements that we go through, that TGB puts forward, that PBC puts forward, both for the fighters and their camps and the production. Everyone's used to that for the most part. Boots has been through it. Sergey's has been through it. You know, anybody who's fought in the last year has been through that. And I think the other thing is there's a lot of good quality fights happening, you know, and I think when things happen like this pandemic, you know, sometimes it makes people realize, you know, how things can disappear in a moment's notice. So I think you do see fighters, but these two guys in particular, Sergey and Boots, these are two guys who've never said no to a fight anyway. So pandemic or no pandemic, like there's no problem getting them to take tough fights and exciting fights. So, you know, I think you'd be seeing this fight in no matter what situation we'd be in, because neither of these guys has any hesitation. You ask them to take a fight and they take it, no questions asked.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, Jaron and Sergey. Best of luck to both of you.
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you, Carlos. And apologies on not being able to get to all of the questions, but I think we got through a ton here today. And thank everyone in the media for your time and joining. And I'll toss it back to Brian to bring it home.
Okay. Thank you, Greg, and certainly appreciate all you members of the media. Want to say thank you to Jaron. Want to say thank you to Sergey Lipinets. I'm telling you, folks, it's going to be one heck of a welterweight battle on April 10th. Real quick before we wrap this thing up, Tom Brown, of course, the promoter, TGB, give everyone just a final statement on what they should expect on April 10th.
Well, we just have a tremendous card, and as Steven said, it's a triple header starting out with a world title fight, and it's not just a world title fight; it's a mandatory world title fight. So it's an important fight. And then Stanionis, as Steven just mentioned, it really was never an intention of matching these guys on the same card. But as I was telling you yesterday, Brian, on a phone call, I think Stanionis, Ennis, Ortiz, these are the top young rising stars in the division. And hey, I told you, I really felt Stanionis and Ennis maybe are a notch ahead, as good as Ortiz was and as he looked the other day. So I mean, it's just real young rising stars, and we already said what we have with Ennis and Lipinets. It's the minute they say go, we're going to have action, and I just wish there were fans there, but it's going to be great for the audience watching on Showtime.
All right. Thank you, Tom. And Steven, I want to give you a final word, because I know it is one of those things where not only are people, when they tune in to Showtime, going to get a great fight, but that entire weekend, it is going to be a combat of fighting fans, something that they're going to look forward to, because you're not only getting boxing on Saturday, but you're also getting MMA and Bellator on Friday.
Yeah, it is. It's truly a big fight weekend that takes on a different meaning when we have a big Bellator MMA card on Friday and a high quality boxing card on Saturday, all at Mohegan Sun. The excitement, you just leave it tuned to Showtime all weekend, and I can't think of a better way to top this whole weekend off. Two of the most exciting fighters in this division, two of the most action-packed, fan-friendly fighters in this division. This is guaranteed to be an exciting fight.
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. We want to thank you for joining us again, April 10th, and it comes your way from the Fight Sphere at Mohegan Sun, Showtime Championship Boxing, 9 o'clock Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time. Triple header of fights. We open with a world title fight. We got another welterweight special attraction in the co-main, and then the main event. You want to talk about a former world champion